Alright everybody, just wanted to do hopefully a quick video of some of the differences between the different Yngwie Malmsteen Stratocasters. So today I'm just going to be working on the United States models, and we'll start with the very first. This is a 1988, so that's when they debuted. These ones started off with DiMarzio tuners. These were the only ones. I have seen some 89s that have the DiMarzio tuners, but it's pretty few and far between. I like them because from the front they still look vintage. From the back obviously they don't, but I think they're a little bit more accurate, maybe have a higher rate or so, something like that, so they're a little bit more accurate. Obviously they have the brass nut. The scallops on these are relatively shallow, but they go pretty evenly from fret to fret. They have jumbo frets. They're not super jumbos, but they're pretty big, so you're still never touching the fretboard when you're playing these. This one I actually changed to the YJM Duncan pickups, and that's because I just like them. They're higher output. These have, this is one of the unique features, is that they have the 2-point bridge with the stainless steel saddles. So you can't see it because I have the back, well I guess you kind of can, but the bridge block on these is actually kind of small, but they still have great tone, so you can't discount them there. Then the next, I guess, well, I wouldn't call it another version, but this is also a first generation. This one's 1995, so it'll have almost all the same features. This one I kept the original pick card on, but they have the Clusen tuners. And you can see where the serial number is on these is right over here. I think they did that in the later years of the first US version. Pull out the 88 again so you can see the serial numbers up here on the headstock. Then on to the US version 2, which I've got a couple of those. This one is obviously rosewood fretboard. These ones have definitely deeper scallops, but they're not quite so even. They go deep very quickly and then kind of flatten out. So same thing, you're never touching the fretboard with these ones. These ones had different pickups. The first US version had HS3s in the bridge and in the neck, and it had a US standard pickup in the middle. This one has HS3 in the bridge, HS4, HS4. And this one actually has a 3-way switch. The first US version has a 5-way switch, and is actually the only US version that has a 5-way switch. Actually, well, this one has the 3-way because I changed the pick guard. Back to the 95, this one has 5-way switch, and these ones have the tone, treble bass expander controls. So right about 5 there's a notch, and then you go beyond it and it expands the range of the guitar. Sounds pretty cool. Now all the rest of the US versions, on the bottom tone control they have a notch at 10, and that's supposed to bypass all of the tone pots and give you a little bit more output, which if you play it you'll definitely notice it. Oh, the serial number location. So you can see serial number is up here on this version. Now I have a 2005 also. The only difference is this one has a maple fretboard. The scallops are the same. They go deep very fast and then kind of flatten out. So never touching the wood there. Same pickups, HS3, HS4, HS4, 3-way switch. Now this one is a 2006. This is a later version of the second US version. This one I also changed out to the Duncan Fury pickups. But the aftermarket pickguards that are the Duncan licensed ones, they have a 5-way switch, and they don't have the tone bypass, so you may not get quite as much output out of them, but they still sound pretty good. Now, interestingly, this one, the serial number was moved over to the middle in 2006. At least from what I've seen, that's the first year that they did that. Then here is the third US version, so to speak. This one, they changed the scallops. They're more like the first US version, but they are still deeper than the second US version. So they're more even like a U shape from fret to fret, versus the second US version, which goes deep really fast and then flattens out. These ones have like a very consistent curve. HS3, HS4, HS4 still has the notch at 10 to bypass, three-way switch. And for these ones, these are also serial number in the middle. Now for the, I guess you could call it the fourth US version. This one is from 11 on. They did change to darker knobs, I guess, in around 2016, but for most intents and purposes, they're the same otherwise. These have the YJM Duncan, or Duncan YJM Furies. Three-way switch, still has the notch at 10 to bypass. These are kind of a combination of both of the scallops. They go very deep, very fast, kind of flatten out a little bit. So they're kind of a hybrid, but these are definitely the deepest scallops that are offered on the YJMs. They also did flush mount strap locks, so some people like that, some people don't. And serial number right here. Overall, I think the best build quality is either the very early ones or some of the later ones. I've heard mixed reviews on some of the really recent ones like the 19s and 20s, but for most intents and purposes, all of these are very good quality guitars, so you can't go wrong with any of them.